go, ladies. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us for our Team Fit Boss Nation team call. It's July 12th, 2016, and we have the honor and privilege of having the wonderful, amazing ELENA Cardone on our call. ELENA, thank you for joining us.
You're so welcome. This is really cool.
Really cool. We're so excited to have you. And I'm going to turn it over to Tara because Tara, we call her 10X Tara. She's the machine behind getting the Cardones on our call. So Tara, I'll turn it over to you and then we'll get to some questions.
Great. Well, thank you. And thank you, ELENA. So as Ange mentioned, we had Grant on our call. I'm sorry if I hear in my mouth. I have a fan going. We had Grant on our call in March. And I don't know, what was it? It had to be like January-ish. Everybody, a big part of what we do is personal development. So we all throw out ideas about books. And when somebody finds a great book, and as you can see behind me, I've got
I love that book.
So we started with the 10X rule. And we soon fell in love with your husband first. We're not going to lie. But we fell in love with what he was saying. And then clearly we fell in love with you. We fell in love with Sabrina and Scarlett as well. We follow you wherever we can. We just find you guys so motivating. And I think, when we originally spoke to Grant and everybody at the office has been so amazing, and Sherry and Katie and Mike and everybody is just fantastic and just so down to earth that I feel like I could email them that I know you guys. And, I mentioned to Sherry, I said, do you ever think ELENA would be willing to do a call? And she's like, oh my gosh, absolutely. And I feel like, and this is what we were kind of talking about before, was I feel like sometimes what we struggle with is just juggling it all. And we're not just moms. And that's what I wanted to kind of, with the few of us that were on, I wanted us to maybe say a little bit of what we all do. I personally am a corporate travel manager for a nationwide law firm. Angela's an attorney. Laura's an attorney. We have nurses. We have teachers. We have, I don't even, gosh, Ange, help me out. Where else? We have it all.
Angie's been in marketing and ads and sales forever. A lot of attorneys. I've recruited a lot of attorneys, miserable attorneys.
I doubt that.
Oh yeah, no. We're not miserable doing this. We're miserable usually doing attorney stuff. But no, we have a huge, a lot of professionals, just a lot of professional women.
And on the side of what we do is we are Beachbody coaches and we help other people. And more importantly, we help each other. And, Angela and I had we ended up meeting really 10 years ago through a mutual friend. And we were friendly and we were, of course, Facebook friends and all that good stuff. And here I'm in Florida and she's in New York, but we originally met in New York through a mutual friend. And she was posting all this amazing positive stuff. And, from that, I knew about one of the workouts and I contacted her. And that's how I just purchased something from her and was like, and she's like, this is what the bottom line is. It's about giving back. It's about helping other people. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's me. That's what I want to do. And that's such a big part of my life. I'll hear from my mother-in-law, like, how could you do one more thing? Why do you even want to do one more thing? And I'm like, because this is what I'm meant to do. This is why we're here. And so we all have this common goal, and it's surrounded by health and fitness, and we do our personal development. We all have our why of why we do this, ranging from our kids to personal struggles to personal health. And I have to say that everybody on our team has an amazing story, and I wish you had time to hear them all. But we all really come from a place, and we've created, most of the people here, we haven't even met in person, but we're our go-to people. We're having a bad day. We're the first people that we reach out to is this core group. Or I'm struggling with this. Whatever it may be. This is where we're going to first. And we love that. We got that message through the 10X of, get into a multi-level marketing where everybody says, oh my gosh, you hear all the normal things. It's a pyramid. It's this, it's that. And anyway, so you can understand where we're coming from. But part of the thing, one of the things we struggle with is juggling it all and just balancing it. Being mom, having a professional life, working our businesses, just being supportive to our spouse, being everything. And I think how do we stay focused during that time? how do we stay focused when sometimes you just want to curl up on the couch with, I don't know, a bottle of wine and a bag of chips and say screw it. So with that, but anyway, we welcome you and thank you so much. We all love and know you from your modeling and your acting, and of course from your husband, but you are, to us, you are the first lady, and we really
I love that.
Love having you here, and thank you so much for joining us. So with that, thank you so much, everybody. Please welcome ELENA Cardone to our call this evening. And so if you want to say hello to everybody, and then we'll just, hey, there's nothing formal about this. We do have some questions prepared, but please feel free to share with us whatever you'd like.
Well, thank you for having me. And it kind of helps me kind of understand what you guys do. And that is totally along my purpose line, to give back and help and stay focused on that. And I do have a passion to help other women. You might know I do that show Women in Power on the Grant Cardone TV network. And it's for the reason of trying to empower other women and come together as a group. And so I really, really like what you guys are doing over there, from what you've just told me. And also you said that you feel like that you know us because you follow us and that, and we're down to earth and all of that. And that is because we really do take our social media family, seriously. And we want to welcome people. We want to, be able to show what we've done and what we've created. And we have not nearly reached our goals or potentials. Grant and I joke, but we are very serious when we ask each other all the time, are we going to make it? Are we going to make it? Are we, when are we getting our break? When are we this? Because, when we do achieve a goal, it's very important that we celebrate it, but it doesn't stop us. Then we set the next goal and the next climb and the next move. So we're always constantly on the move, and whatever we can impart on others to help them fast track, we're more than willing to do. We're definitely, as I've said before, we're not perfect. We are figuring it out, but we have figured out some things very right, at least for us. So if I can help in any way, I'm more than happy to share any secret or trick of the trade that I've learned along the way.
Go ahead, spill it. No,
ask me a question. I'll tell you.
So go ahead, Sarah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Ange.
I mean, ELENA, I guess the burning question for me personally, we juggle it all, but for somebody that's in my position right now, and I think a lot of us are in this position where we see you and you're here, right? And we just want to get like here-ish, right? And like it's amazing what you've done, and we all, I think, want that. But how do we go from, or like, what's the first step you think that we can take to go from, the struggle, that middle class that you guys always talk about, we're not going to get anywhere if we don't think this way.
Right.
What's that first step, that first breakthrough to get to the next level?
Well, you can't underestimate the amount of action that it's going to require to go there. And it's there's different roles. So I'm still trying to figure out all of you guys' roles. My role is a little different than what I think you guys go through. So there's two different parts. There's the part that Grant would go to get to the next level, and what I would do to support that.
Right.
What I do know is that the correct estimation of effort cannot be under evaluated. Whatever you think it is, you do have to do more, and you do have to, 24/7 I am working. I don't have a friendship that I don't try to figure out everything about them to see if there's some sort of a match that I can pair them up with Grant in some way. If not, no biggie, but I'm not spending a whole lot of downtime. Every action is to support this family, to support our mission, our goals. And Grant will do whatever it takes to take care of us and to to make things happen. So I'd say the very first thing is you got to get on the same page with your spouse and figure out where y'all can, like, what is the goal? What is the dream? Like, for us, it's about getting on the same page and like focusing the mission outward, you know, like people ask me all the time, what's it like being with Grant? And I'm like, have you ever fucking lived in Jurassic Park? I wake up with a monster morning, noon, and night. I have a monster. It's T-Rex. I'm not T-Rex. That is not who I am. My job is to frickin', you know, that thing wants to hunt and kill and bring home a deal and take care of his family. And if I don't frickin' put him on a mission and know how to take care of him and protect him and look out for him, I mean, like we have two completely different roles in our family.
Right.
If I don't like focus him outward on a mission, he is coming to devour me. And it's not a goal I'm interested in. That's not the game I want to play. It's not attack each other. The mission is to like be as joined as possible. And then, you know, like, then the small, I try not to sweat small stuff. I don't, you know, like, you know, if I feel, you know, T-Rex is being a monster and I happen to be at the back end of that, you know what? I swallow it and move on, unless it's really something I can't deal with. It's just like, you know, it's like a dog barking at a fire truck, you know, the truck's got to go put out the fire. I'm not going to stop and say boo-hoo or, oh, you don't treat me right. No, the mission is so big with us that, you know, little stuff slides that, you know, is insignificant. Does that help in any sort of way?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. So that brings me to one of my questions. How do you live with somebody so 10X all the time? Is there ever a time where you're like, stop? Or do you just let him go?
Never. Never. If he stops, no, I'm in trouble. You know, no.
So you just fuel him.
I deal with him, I motivate him, I encourage him, I take care of him, and I push him to do more, always. We push each other nonstop, you know, to be great. We expect greatness from each other. I'm constantly working on myself, he's constantly working on himself, and we are constantly motivating each other. As 10X as he is with the business, I'm 10X with taking care of this family and running and making the machine run on all cylinders at all times, you know. If I feel that my workhorse needs a break or needs something, you know, I might slow it down a little bit or find other times, but that man is not capable of stopping. I would never want to do that. I think that would be a very bad mistake for me.
So we all love the G&E show, and I'm one of your biggest fans. I have to say, every Wednesday I'm like, it's 12 o'clock, the world shuts down. I don't care what else I have going on. I am taking my screenshots and I'm, you know, posting it.
Love that.
But I love, you know, and I'm not, hey, I love Jared too, and I love Carter. I love Grant on his own, but there's something special about the G&E show. But I have to say something about your affection towards each other, and you could just see the love you have for each other, and it really is such an amazing thing. And I what do you guys do? I mean, clearly you guys are really connected. You keep each other focused. You keep each other going. So what are some of your secrets when, I'm not going to lie, I love my husband to death. But then sometimes I want to kill him, which I'm sure we all do at some point. But what are some of the things that you guys do to keep that passion and that motivation alive and keep you guys going? And seriously, I don't think I could do a show with my husband every Wednesday, because there's got to be a Wednesday in there where I'm ready to strangle him.
Oh, and there's been plenty of episodes where I've wanted to strangle him. And there's been plenty of times when we both asked ourselves, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? I don't want to do a show with you. And we've worked through that. I mean, we've had some, if you see some of the earlier shows where we were trying to figure it out, I wanted to murder him. You know, it's definitely not easy, but we're, you know, like I said, we what do we do to keep it? You know, one of the things we do is the G&E show. It is a time where we can pick a topic, discuss it, figure it out, figure out how to get each other on the same page and help others. And when we're helping others and we have goals, that is sexy to me. That makes him sexy to me, you know? So that is one of the things that we do. Another thing that we do, we like to, you know, work out together. We like to, you know, have people over for dinner. We like to social network together. We, you know, whatever it is, we'll go to a movie on the weekends. We love to go to our matinee. We love to take a, you know, break and hit Starbucks, you know, like, but we constantly create it. We, like, I think some people, and maybe I was too in the beginning of my marriage, under the delusion that it was supposed to just be this perfect fairy tale kind of in the movies. Like, I'm a romantic. I'm like, you know, this should happen and this should happen. And then, you know, I walked into my life and that was not happening, you know? And then I finally got to the point where I realized, you know what, I have to just create it all. What I want, not what I expect, you know? And a lot of that had to do with me giving in the relationship and not demanding. And the more that I gave and the more that I could, you know, like let him be, the easier it all got and the closer that we came together, you know, as a unit.
I love that. That's great. I really do love that. So going off of the two of you and then your two beautiful girls, and you had a question about the family and parenting and
Yeah, so I mean, Elena, again, a lot of us are moms, and you know, obviously we're trying to do it all. How do you, you know, you said, we obviously know that you have a different role than I think most of us on this call do. A lot of us on this call are the leaders in the family. We are the ones that you know, and anybody here, you know, if I've got it wrong, like definitely comments. But I think a lot of us are the
You're the T-Rex.
We're the T-Rexes, right? So like we're out there and we're the T-Rexes. Now I have the amazing privilege of having a husband that has been like the support and we're on the same page. I have to say we have an amazing relationship. But you know, there's a lot of people on this call that I think don't have that support, right, from their spouse. So I think, no, not yet. I'm on the phone. There's one person that definitely, you know, is either not totally on board or not on the same page. So I guess, what do you suggest in getting your spouse on the same page? Number one, and number two, having the kids. How do you keep it all together? You know, I know you said you only go into the office on Wednesdays, but even, you know, you're doing something major. You're doing a show. So how do you keep everybody straight? Like, how do you manage it all? I guess the question is.
You know, I do, you know, I focus on what I do and I complete cycles of action. I complete actions that need to be done, you know? And I just, you know, I just do. I mean, that's just what I do, you know? And sometimes it gets a little overwhelming, but I try not to wallow in that, you know? There's, you know, and I use people, you know, like I use my friends for when I need to like figure something out, like a situation with, I don't know, whatever, pick it, you know? I can't go to Grant with certain things. He's too busy. That's not his thing. You know, so I use people. I have my certain friends that I can go to for this, and I go to, so I'm fulfilling, I don't know if I'm answering the question accurately, but I don't depend on just myself to get myself through any one situation. I use any and every resource that I have available to me, whether I'm paying them as an employee or you know, it's my friends, you know, and so I don't know if that answers it.
No, it makes sense. You know, and I think a lot of us try to do it all ourselves.
I will use anyone and everyone as much as I can to because, you know, I have no buttons on that. And I don't have the hero syndrome thing where I have to do it myself either. Like, you know, if I'm having a nanny help me for an hour while I'm helping Grant, or I have a nanny doing dishes so I can be with my kids. Like, I'm using whatever I can, whatever serves me and the immediate goals and objectives of the mission at that time.
Right.
You know?
And to bring up your point, I mean, I remember being at the NASDAQ and Grant said something about you should not be washing your floors, right? He's like, if you're washing your floors, you're not an entrepreneur. Like, what are you doing? Like, you could be doing something better.
Right.
And I learned that a long time ago where, you know, if you're going to pay somebody X amount of dollars, what is your worth, right? And I guess that's what you're trying to say. So outsource whatever you can so that you free up time to do other stuff, the important stuff.
That's right. I do that all the time, you know, like, you know, for you, why would you be doing your floors when you could be making calls and making money, you know, and doing your beach body? And, you know, like, it's not about what I've really learned from Grant, you know, and it's very different than the way I was brought up. I was brought up to conserve everything and save everything and don't spend money and do everything yourself. But, you know, being with Grant, it's really about, how do I go get the next deal? How do I make the money? Who's got my money? Who's going to pay for it? I'm not paying for it. What client's paying for it? And know your product and believe in your product to know that it is a good thing that other people should have. You're helping people. So why wouldn't you want to get it into everyone's hands? Why would you want to clean your own floor when you could be helping people? I mean, you know your product. You're passionate about it. If you can help a life and help somebody turn their health and fitness around, and you can earn money at the same time, and they could earn money, why would you want to be bothered with doing a floor?
Right.
You know?
Exactly. So yeah, so we all know that Grant says, you know, there are things that you shouldn't be doing. And so what are some of your, and we'll lighten things up a little bit, and what are some of your non-negotiables that you're like, you know what, I'm just not wasting my time? And I'm going to assume one of them is the floors.
You know what, that is interesting, because I really honestly, and I'm not just like PRing this answer, there isn't anything that I would not be willing to do if that's what it needed to be done in that moment. I mean, I am not above plunging a toilet. I did it this morning. My child's, and I wasn't going to ask the housekeeper to do it, so I plunged the toilet from, you know, the kids. You know, it's just whatever. You know, but like, do I need to clean the house every day? No, because Grant needs me. I got to be available for him and the kids 24/7. And there's different, you know, roles that I play, like y'all do. You know, there's the wife. There's, you know, when he's doing a big deal and you know, an $80 million deal, and the, you know, shit's hitting the fan, and, you know, the head guy that, you know, it's all tense about, gets on the phone with Grant and says, that's it, I refuse to talk to you, put ELENA on the phone. I only want to talk to her. And then, you know, I'm calling, you know, what's going on? You know, and, you know, I played that role. And then the next thing you know, there, you know, it's all happy, lovey-dovey, you know, but what did that take me? 10 minutes. But could I have done it if I'm playing housekeeper? You know?
But your life,
that's just one little, I mean, that's like slivers. Like, I mean, it's just, you know, it's that multiplied more than 10, at least 1,000.
You know, and I think we could all relate to that, especially wearing all the hats that we do. But I really love the statement of, you're not trying to be the hero. And I find myself personally doing that. Like, all of a sudden you find yourself in competition with your spouse of, I got this done. No, I got that done. And it's really not a competition. You have to, I found myself, once I recognized I was doing that, I had to stop myself and say, you know what? We're a team.
Yes.
His things, he does certain things, you know, he's not around, he works long hours, but you know, he's not around to see the kids. So he's always doing, people are amazed that he makes lunches. I'm like, but that's his time with the kids. He makes breakfast, he makes lunch. That's my time to work out. That's my time to catch up on emails. So we make things work, you know, like I don't empty the dishwasher. He does it. You know what I mean? And yes, we have help around, but it just, you find those things that you find what works for you to make you work better as a team. And I think that's one of the things that we all love about you. And I think sometimes you get so wrapped up into the daily lives of switching hats and feeling so overwhelmed by everything and not looking at the big picture of, hey, we all have this common goal. And that's where we're trying.
And Grant and I meet on it all the time. What is the goal? What is the objective? What is the mission? What's the plan? And we go over it like That stuff never bores me. I want to know. I called, his COO tonight, Sherry, and I said, you know what? I haven't been around in a while. Give me the update. What's going on? I want a breakdown of what every department is doing in the office. Who is doing this? What is doing that? Where's the problem? Is there a problem? And I'm like constantly trying to figure it out. Like, how can I help? Where's my resource? And competitions are great when they motivate you and they push you both to greatness. So I'm glad you recognize that. And also, when someone else does a good job, don't be afraid to like really freaking reward it. The problem with sometimes the competitions you have, if you're like anything like me, you have a tendency to make the other person wrong so you could be the winner, and I'm very competitive. So I have to watch that all the time.
I love your involvement in the office and even with whatever it takes. And I find that you and Sherry have similar opinions. It's funny, before you guys even say, I wasn't even going to say this, but I was going to say exactly what Sherry was going to say, or Sherry says the same about you, and you guys have the same thinking. And I think that's really important. I'm sure that plays a huge role in Grant's life to have kind of the same thing.
Sherry and I work behind the scenes all the time. As a matter of fact, when I was talking to her on the phone tonight, Grant comes outside and he was like, what are y'all talking about? What, and I'm like, I'm getting the update, but he's like, what are y'all planning? That's what he said. What are y'all planning? But Sherry is a very big ally, and I'm an ally to her, and she has my back and I have her back all the time. Grant has no idea what goes on behind the scenes between me and Sherry and what we do for the company and the organization,
Well, you're both two really strong women that we look up to. And so we thank you all. We thank you both for doing that. So, Anne, do you have a question?
Yeah. So, Elena, I have a question from one of the girls on the call. What was Elena like before Grant?
Oh my God.
So, right. So before you were the first lady and the 10X, T-Rex comes into your life, what were you like before? And then I guess, what was the tipping point,
Wow. I am definitely two different people. The person I was, was an actress in LA. I had a very big chip on my shoulder about doing it all. And I was like, oh God, I never wanted a man to do anything for me. Actually, every guy I dated, I always took care of them. I was on the TV show. I was, I paid for everything, the house, the cars, the clothes, the meals, everything. So it was very difficult for me and it was a very hard, drastic change in the beginning of our relationship to kind of like completely reverse the entire way that I thought. I was very, just thought I would sell myself out if I helped a man in any way or compromised myself or whatever. I was very confused. And then what was the tipping point? This one story comes to mind where we had some guests come over to the house and Grant asked me to get them some food, like make a food platter. And I did, but I like literally went nuclear on him after he left. I was like, who the hell do you think you are? Like, I'm not like, I don't get the, I don't even know. It was so deranged, and he was like, we had to sit and talk about it. And then I analyzed, where does this come from? And I realized that's not even really me. Like it comes from this idea of who I thought I should be based on like this women's power thing. And then I thought about it and I was like, well, I'm from the South. I'm a friendly person. I would offer anyone that came into my house food. Why would I have a button on like doing that? And that's the first time I started looking, well, what is my ideas and what ideas have been put on me or that I assumed from other things. And then I was really able to start looking at like who I really am. And who I really am is like who I am now, who I've evolved into. I'm all about I never wanted to be married before. I never wanted to have kids. That was not my agenda. And everything changed when I met Grant. I mean, everything. I'm like, damn it, why didn't you come into my life like 10 years younger?
All right, so why did it? Well, what's the real story? So we've heard Grant's version, but what's a real story of why it took a year and a half for you to answer him and finally go out on a date with him?
Oh my God, please, because I had that mindset. I dated actors, musicians, artists. You know, I was living in LA. I took care of myself. I did not need a man. I bought my own house, and I had 5 cars at in my mid-20s, you know, like, and then here comes Grant, this business guy who's, you know, just not who's arrogant, and he thinks he can just, my idea was that he could just buy anyone. And I was like, please, disgusting. And I had a phone call with him, and he was like, you know, people, and this is the real story that he hates that I said. We had one phone call because the director of this short little film that we were on together gave him my number. Anyway, he calls me. He says, you know, people that hang out with me, you know, their lives tend to get better. And I was like, yeah, I get that. And he's like, so the next time I call you, I'm going to have you do these 3 things. Get a pen, get a paper. Oh, yeah, I got it. What are the 3 things? And he's like, blah, 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 blah. So the next time I talk to you, I want you to have the answer to these questions. And I hung up with him, and I was like, oh, my God, this guy is such a loser. And I never returned one of his phone calls. It was the answering machine days. You know, he'd leave me messages all the time. And, you know, it wasn't until, let's see, he became friends with my friends, you know, one of my friends. I don't know if you know that part of the story.
No.
He loves that part of the story. You don't know that story?
No, I don't think so.
I know that part. Is that the friend that he asked? Like, what's the real deal? Like, why won't she call me?
Yes,
and
that's the real friend.
Said, well,
but they were doing the dirty.
Oh no, I don't know.
They were
he
doing
left
the
that
dirty
part out.
Because the story is you know, he says he's, you know, Italian, and Italians, you never go after the girl you want, you go after her friend. So it did make him safe to at least come hang out with me at the club, because we used to hang out, me and this other girl would hang out at all the clubs together. So then he starts getting into the circle, and he's with her, blah blah blah. So it's fine.
Oh, funny.
And then, you know, then we just kind of started hanging out as friends, and then, you know, something really happened, which was really unique, that had never happened to me before. Because I always used to fall in love at first sight, and that turned out to be freaking disasters. And with him, we became friends, and yet I knew he liked me, but he never pushed me to, like, you know, and he never made me wrong for, like, not liking him, like, you know, being bratty, or I don't know. It was just amazing. Something happened where I started looking forward to getting emails from him, and I'm like, God, what's happening? You know, this isn't my guy. He's short. He's like not.
That's our main. That was what we said. We said that he was just too short for you. That's what.
Oh, I was like, no, my guy was 6'2" and had green eyes. You know, so he was not my guy. But yet then we became friends. And then something just became so extremely sexy to me, which was that there was the man sitting in front of me, not going away, pursuing me because he wanted me. And he was willing to wait and do whatever it took to, like, be patient enough until I could come around. And I finally freaking saw it one day, and I was like, oh my God. I had never seen that show up in a man before, ever. And it was like, it freaking just, it took me back, you know. I was like, damn, this is like nothing I had ever known before.
That's great. We asked him in March when we spoke to him, and we said, Grant, so what made you go after her for a year and a half? And he said, and it really was just so adorable, and I'm sure all the girls will agree with me here, and just, he said, I knew she was the one. I knew it was her. And I'm like, and we're all like, oh, tell us more, you know, as we're swooning, you know. But and you see it, you really do. And for those of you that don't watch the G&E show, you have to watch it on Wednesdays at 12 o'clock, because it's just
tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow.
Grant Cardone TV.
Yes, it's so great, and I love that you challenge him, and you give it right back to him, and you could tell, and I love hearing Sherry in the background or Katie in the background, and I'm just like, nope, you're not going to win this one. Just so with that, so how does social media is such a big part of your lives? And, we know, originally we got Grant on our call from Blab, which has kind of disappeared. But with him now with Snapchat, I mean, I pretty much follow you guys all day long. Is there ever a time, and now we saw you tonight on Musical.ly, curling your hair, singing your songs, being adorable. Is there ever a time where you're like, put the phone away, enough, I don't want to see it?
No, never for him. There's times when I'm like, don't put it on me, like when I feel like, I have no makeup on and I just look like a freaking wreck. But I never tell him to stop. Never, because that's contrarian to our goals. I want, his goal, he wants 7 billion people on the planet to know who he is. And, we aim high, and I would, if he does a stream and one more person gets to know him, who am I to hold him back from his goals?
That's amazing.
He can't quit on his goals. If he quits on his goals, then I'm next, and then the kids, and then everybody else. So I have no choice. I have to support him, and he has to support me, because for me, if you don't have your goals first, what do you have?
Yep. Exactly. So how was it leaving LA for you? And kind of clearly it's I'm sure it's not easy being an actress outside of LA, and can be a little bit more challenging, but how was that for you? Because you guys have been in Miami for how long? What is it?
4 years.
Okay.
He stayed in LA for me for probably, 7 years longer than he wanted to. He had been wanting to move from, the day we got married. And I wasn't ready. So he waited for me and supported all of that. Then it finally came to a decision, where I could continue doing what I was doing, auditioning for vampire movies or whatever, good one here and there. Or I could really get behind him and flow towards the network. And, we have long-term goals with the network and with our shows and with our branding and the real estate and everything else, and the G&E show. Like, what is the message? Do I want to go to work every day and inspire couples to stick and stay and how to figure it out? Or do I want to, continue to be a guest star on NCIS? I mean, it's great. I love it. But my goals shifted. Like, that it's not that anymore. Where's my message? It fulfills me in a way because I get to entertain people, and that's a separate thing. But if I get to entertain people in the G&E show or in life and really do what I want to do, that was a very easy decision for me. Once I finally made it, I'm like, you know what, we're going to go create our own network, and I'm going to be able to do my own thing. And I don't have to wait for a producer or a director to say, yes, you have this job. No, we don't like your look. Yes, all that. It was easy to walk away from that. What wasn't easy to walk away from was the booked jobs, because the booked jobs, being on set and working with people and other actors and that stuff, is still very exciting to me. But I don't miss it because I'm doing bigger things and bigger goals.
Plus, you get to be yourself on the G&E show. You get to be who you are, which I think probably still fulfills some part of that. And
definitely, that's what I'm saying. It fulfills me even more to do what I want to do and say what I want to say, and not have a filter, not have to learn lines, and
Mm-hmm.
And not also have to be a persona. When I did this show called USA High, and we did 95 episodes, and that was to preteens and teens,
mm-hmm.
There was a persona you have to be in public in front of those kids, so, I wouldn't set a bad example or whatever. But, now I just get to be me all the time.
Right. ELENA, you said that Grant's goal is for, we know, 7 billion people, right? 7 billion
Yes.
people to know him, right? What is your personal goal? Or do you have separate goals? Or do you have ELENA's goals? Or is it just one common family, let's go do this?
It's one common, family goal. But yeah, I have other goals too. I have, I have goals to raise really productive, happy, successful children that are really going to be opinion leaders in society as they grow up and really have the arsenal of tools to be able to accomplish whatever they want and to make a difference for the better. And so that's my goal for the kids. My goal with my husband is to create such a successful relationship that we are an inspiration to others, and that people can figure out their relationships. And you know what? It is not easy. It is, it's work. It is work. And I'm here to tell you that it's work. If you want a gold medal in the Olympics, you're working for it. It doesn't just happen. But I want to be that. So that's my goal in that area. My goal for Grant is, I want him on the cover of Forbes. I want to be on a billionaire list and, not be ashamed for having that. I want to, travel the globe and get to have my children experience different cultures and meet people and touch people and leave our mark wherever we are. That is, I want to be able to give extremely large amounts of money to different charities in my church and make big contributions, and we've done amazing. Like, to some people's standards, they think, oh my God, but to my goals and dreams, it's a dime, it's a nickel. I want big. I think in big orders of magnitude.
It's amazing.
I think it's just the tip of the iceberg for you guys, and you guys are already setting great examples. And one of the, I can't remember where I saw it, and probably for most of January and February for me, I just kept on looking for more things to find. But one of the most touching videos I found was one Christmas, and I don't know how many years ago it was, when you guys gave your mom the car.
Last Christmas.
Was that last Christmas?
Yeah, it was just a few months ago.
Seeing your face and the joy of just, you guys are so generous, and clearly not just to your family and to your community, but your time and on social media and we can relate to that because we want to give back. Just the amount that we help each other and to push each other forward, and whether or not who has a connection where, it's just like, again, we reach out to each other first, so we can relate to that so much. But we're just to give back. I think we all have that charitableness in us and want to give back, but you guys are so gracious with your time. And as far as, even the night Grant was on our call, you guys were in Clearwater, and we were like, we're so sorry, that we're taking you away from your family and thank you so much for spending the time with us. And but you guys continue to give back, and I think it's so appreciated. One of the things that we want, again, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, and the kids know that that's their contribution to this family too, is they make a difference and they help and they contribute too. So that's why the kids join in on the streams too, because they understand, that they have a role in this family too.
Well, I think, and I'm glad you brought up the girls again, because I think, I have two that are 7 and 4 myself, and it resonates with them. A few months ago, we met a girlfriend, out of town, that came in from out of town. And the first thing Christopher, our 7-year-old, said to him was, do you know who Grant Cardone is? And just knowing from my post on Facebook, and her reply was, nope, but I have a feeling I'm going to hear a lot about him today. And he, he's constantly like the 10X, and well, maybe we should, let's send Sabrina a Snapchat for her birthday or something like that, and they hear it. So he knows what 10X is. My daughter's getting there, but your girls are so well behaved, and especially from what we see on social media. And we, I'm sure, believe me, I'm not going to post a photo of my daughter having.
This is Grant. Grant just walked in and said, "Sell me some."
All right.
Tell me some books. That's my favorite book.
I got it.
Tell me some books.
Sell
or Be Sold, best book ever.
I got
Tell
it.
me some books.
You want
some books?
I got it. I got them, GC. I got them.
Do you have this one?
Oh, I do. Hold on one second.
Oh, I have that too.
Oh my God, they have them all, dude.
We have them all.
That is amazing.
And my millionaire booklet is signed because I got it from Ray, direct from the office.
Angela, just calm down. So is mine.
Oh, back up.
Oh my God, they have signed millionaire booklets.
Tell them
Oh, geez. He's walking in with bumper stickers now.
Everybody can have a free sticker.
I got those too.
Grant.
Everyone can have a sticker. Grant Cardone / sticker.
GrantCardone.com/sticker.
Did you get that?
Can you tell him to get back on Periscope, please?
He did it the other day.
I know, but I 8:30 in the morning, I listen every day, and I'm dying.
He's not on anymore, huh?
I know.
He doesn't
All right.
do the Periscope.
I'll get him back on that for you.
Dying.
All right, so the girls earn their screen time. I know you guys have spoken before about them not watching a ton of TV. So what are some of what are your parenting techniques? What do you guys?
No, I'm fine. He's like, you need more light. The director's coming in. You know
what it is. You've been on too long. He's like, let me in there.
Exactly. Parenting techniques. The number one thing is like, I do not believe in hitting children. And so that, for me, I can't even stress enough how damaging I personally feel that is. So instead of like that kind of a thing, we have star boards, they earn stars. And at the end of the star board, they get a prize or a gift or, ice cream or whatever it is they want. But if they get an X on the board or 3 X's on the board, there's consequences, but they're like no TV for a week. And I'm very strict too. If I don't make threats that I can't keep.
Elena, so I have a 2-part question that kind of goes, with the kids. Obviously you guys have a no negativity policy, right? So I know that even my husband said in the office, there's like no talking about like what's going on in the world because it's considered negative, which I think is so brilliant. But at some point, right, does the outside world and like, let's just say all of this stuff that's gone on in the last week, how do you guys handle that as a family? And then do you talk honestly with the girls about it, or do you shelter them from that because it is?
I shelter them. I never put adult problems on children. On my children. I never put adult problems on children. They don't know about ISIS. I don't want people talking about cancer in front of them, killing, shooting. I've educated them on, what a gun looks like, if you ever see one in this house, what you do. If you ever see one at your friend's house, what you do. I talk to them, very openly about that kind of stuff, in a delicate manner. But, no, I don't put adult problems and no negativity, Grant, that yes, there is a no negativity mantra, but there's also like, wake up and smell the roses too. He's been talking with some people could say very negatively and worried about the economy and where it's going and what you have to do. And, ISIS, all that stuff that's been happening and the shootings and the malls and I'm scared to have a gun and carry. And he's like, what are you doing? You've got to, you owe it to yourself to protect yourself and the kids and other people if a situation like that happened. So what am I doing? I'm training every Monday shooting so that I can be proficient enough that I would have a standing chance. Now, is that negative? Is that, it's about, for us, we handle business. And if it's negative, we're handling it. No negativity, I think can be misunderstood.
No, I think that's responsible and realistic. You know what I mean? In the sense that you, like you said, you're protecting yourself and your family.
Yeah. I feel like, call me crazy, but I feel like I'm more valuable of a human being that needs to be protected, and my children and Grant's children, rather than some idiot trying to shoot somebody up. Like, to me and the people, so anyway, yeah, so no negativity, I think, can be misunderstood. No negativity for me means no making excuses, no letting people off of the hook. No negativity means, if it doesn't need to be spread, don't spread bad news. I don't need to hear it. If you don't have a solution and I don't need to know it, don't frickin' tell me. I'm not the garbage dump,
Mm-hmm.
That's what it means to me. Like I don't need to hear about your problems. I don't need to hear about, something I can't help you with. If I can help you with it, tell me. I can have the negativity. I can have a lot in my space, you know, except for stuff that is useless.
Got it.
Garbage. I don't need garbage.
And I love that message that, you know, that you and Grant also spread of, you know what, and it really makes you think to yourself, like, am I saying this? Is what I'm saying have a purpose? Do I really need to spread that message? Do I need to go there? So I know we're approaching 50 minutes, and I think I told Katie 10 or 20, 30, I'm sorry, 10, 20, 30, I don't know. But all right, so are you in for a little quick round of speed questions?
Sure.
All right, these ones on the list. All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
And before you do that, Tara, if anybody has any
I'm sorry.
hanging questions or like just want to tie up some loose ends, just type them in the chat so I can see them. Go ahead.
Okay, so while they're typing, favorite food?
Sushi or New Orleans food?
Your biggest last splurge?
Like something that I bought?
Yes.
I went on a shopping spree in New Orleans at a store called Chatterbox that my friend owns, and I did a lot of damage.
Good for you. Oh, and happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
What's one thing you do every day?
Drink a lot of water.
I thought you were going to say a lot of wine. I'm like, no, you don't.
No.
What is your favorite movie?
Gosh, that's a tough one. I have so many. When I said earlier about Grant standing before me, it reminded me of Notting Hill. I love that movie.
Yes.
But I mean, there's so many. I mean, how do you freaking pick a best movie?
I know there are a lot of good ones. Okay. Have you ever been mistaken for another celebrity? And we all we all think who we would mistake you for.
Well, the people that have told me Angie make me really happy. But I've never been mistaken for her in person. But a very good friend of mine was her personal assistant for, I think, 10 or 11 years. And I never got to meet her, but I've heard a lot of good things about her. So if that's the one, I'm very honored.
That's it.
I'll take it.
That is it. And there are some pictures that I'm like, wait, when was Grant with Angelina Jolie?
Oh, I love you.
No, it's true.
You.
But I have to tell you, and I think she's beautiful, but I do have to say that I think you are really, really stunning. So, all right, we got to get back to the list now. What is any TV shows? Do you have a must-watch TV show? Or do you not waste your time with TV?
It's rare that I waste time with TV, but if I do, it's going to be a Netflix series, and I do love all of those good ones, you know.
All right. Last book you read? All right, and the last question is from my son. He needs to know, what is your high score on Fruit Ninja?
Oh my God, what is it? Grant! What was my high score on Fruit Ninja? I'm holding the title. What's my high score on Fruit Ninja? 7 something? 760 something?
Yeah.
760 something.
All right. What's your high score? Because he said the other day, real quick, he has to come in on all calls because he just loves you guys. But he said, he goes, I might beat Grant Cardone and Elena on Fruit Ninja. What's your high score?
Well, I forgot.
Okay.
I did too, but I think I just remembered. I think it's 762. Okay. I mean, I can cut some fruit. I can slice.
All right. Do we have questions, Ange, from?
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
No?
No, none in the chat. If anybody has a question, I can see I put everybody on the screen. Anybody want to raise their hand at all? No? All right. I think before we go, Elena, though, we're going to have to take a picture of this lovely view of us, if you don't mind. We're going to screenshot. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So everybody, say
I don't see everybody, just you. But
That's
you
okay.
see everybody?
Yeah, I see everybody.
You can split the screen.
I switched my screen. So
Come in
everybody
here.
ready?
How
Come in here,
how
boo-boo.
did Elena do?
Oh,
It's fantastic.
Awesome. Elena was great.
She was great.
Of course she is.
She's great.
Well,
Thank you,
I
guys.
admire all of you so much for what you're doing and how hard that you work, and being a mother and being a go-getter and a provider. I have such immense admiration for all of you, and the fact that y'all are using each other and your resources. We're not so far apart here, so
We're not.
I really appreciate being part of your guys' group. It really makes me feel good.
Oh, thank you, Elena, so much for giving us your time. We love you. We love you and Grant. We love the Cardone family. You guys have been so good and gracious to us, so we appreciate it.
Oh, you got it. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Have
Bye.
a good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bananas?
Yes, bananas. Why is she still up? Is the question.
I know, right? Why is she up? Hold on. Where are you, ladies? I'm going to stop.